Welcome back to Capitol Review. I'm Haley Mylon. Washington, D.C. is gearing up for an election season like no other. Several members of the D.C. Council announcing they're either stepping down or seeking another opportunity. Let's break this down. First, Mayor Muriel Bowser announcing she won't seek a fourth term. Then Council members Brooke Pinto and Robert White announced their candidacy for Congress. Janessa Lewis George is throwing her hat in the ring for the D.C. mayor's office, and Anita Bond says she won't seek another term on the D.C. Council, along with Brianne Nadeau. And everyone's got their eye now on Sheriff Phil Mendelson. Now, the 2026 elections could change the complexion of the D.C. government. Returning to Capitol Review is Dr. Todd Belt. He leads the George Washington University political program. Dr. Todd Belt, thank you for joining us on Capitol Review. It's great to see you.
Great to be with you, Haley. Thanks for having me on again.
Okay, so Dr. Belt, we have seen the Trump administration put so many Democratic leaders across the country, leaders of Democratic cities, under the microscope. You've got Chicago, you've got LA, and of course, DC. Conflict, friction, or a balancing act of Mayor Bowser leading the city, but also working with the Trump administration through the federal law enforcement surge. A lot of drama over the past 4 months here. How do you see a mayor's race being shaped by the dialogue and rhetoric coming out of the Oval Office?
Well, I think that's really the big issue here. I mean, obviously, development's always going to be an issue in Washington, D.C., but the issue is crime and how to handle it, and whether or not the federal government should be surging National Guard troops into D.C., and whether or not the crime statistics are what they say they are, and whether or not the leadership of the district is going to play ball with the Trump administration, because there are a lot of people in D.C. who don't like the Trump administration. And but of course, you know, we have limited home rule in Washington, D.C., and that can be rescinded by Congress. And it's just a real balancing act, I think, more for D.C. than any other city. And I think that's probably going to play out in the election.
Washington political strategists just have to be racking their brains, all the different scenarios that could play out here in this race. What do you think will win the hearts and minds of D.C. voters in terms of approaching issues with the Trump administration? Do you think that playing ball with President Trump is the move right now, or do you believe that someone being resolute in standing up for home rule and pushing back on some of the restrictions we've seen plays better?
Right. Well, I mean, there's a reason there's on the license plates, there's the, you know, no representation, no taxation without representation. I mean, that really runs deeply through D.C. and the electorate here. And people don't get elected by saying, I'm going to compromise and play ball. That's just not what people like to see in their elected officials. They want somebody who is going to be strong and resolute. But of course, then you get to the realities of government. But you don't really run on the ability to compromise. You run on the ability to stand up for the people in the city and to do what's best for them.
So a lot of the messaging during the mayoral campaigns could likely take aim at the Trump administration and attacks at home rule, really focusing on D.C.'s autonomy. But I want to shift to the race between, right now, Brooke Pinto of Ward 2, Councilmember Brooke Pinto, and Councilmember Robert White, at-large member. They are vying for Eleanor Holmes Norton's seat, the commissioner of D.C., to represent the district on Capitol Hill. How can that role possibly be shaped by messaging out of the White House?
Right. Well, Norton is stepping down after a long time of service, and that's been a turnover in waiting for quite some time. And of course, the representative for D.C. does not have voting power underneath the Republicans. But when the Democrats come back, they have the power to vote if it wouldn't make a difference. But they also have more committee power. And I think that's really where you're going to get the rubber meeting the road, where a new member in the House from D.C. will be able to have some input on committees, and that goes into the way that you put together the the appropriations bills and any laws that come forward, because of course those have to originate in the House of Representatives. And if the Democrats take the House next time, it's going to be more power for the district within the chamber.
All right, Dr. Belt, real quick, one-word answer before I let you go. What comes to mind? What does the focus need to be of the person who wins that seat should the Democrats flip things and really have a voice here?
Well, I think that the real, okay, you asked for one word.
I wanted
the
a
one word
rapid
this year is affordability, right? Everybody's worried about affordability. I think that is bigger than anything else. People want to make sure they can afford to pay for their groceries, their fuel, their energy, and anything else. That cuts across all geographic boundaries. And D.C., such a unique climate for that. It's going to be an interesting campaign season. Dr. Belt, we've been joking all week that it's a great time to be in the business of printing campaign signs. We've got so much happening on the horizon here in D.C. politics. The mayoral race, we've got the congressional race, so much to follow. We will check in with you, I'm sure, more ahead on Capitol Review. But Dr. Todd Belt, thank you so much for joining us. Great to be with you. Thanks for having me on.